Hey lovies, this is Michelle here at Life Mantra Tarot. I hope that you guys are all doing great on this. Today's Tuesday, right? Yeah, Tuesday evening. I would say that I'm doing pretty great. Today was the last day for me at my job, and I work at a school. So, teachers, whoop whoop. Those of us who made it through the school year or are on the process of doing, or in the process of doing that, kudos to us, right? Whoop whoop. I know the parents are probably like, I know these badass kids all summer, but teachers definitely need their break. Um, but yes. So, hey Marjana, how are you? Nice to see you. I love to see that lovely name of yours popping up on my feed. Great to see you. Hope you're doing well. So for those of you who are new to the channel, welcome, and I hope that you like what you see here. Decide to stick around a little bit and, you know, see what comes up, and hit that subscribe button and that like button, all that good stuff. And for those of you who have been rocking with me for a while, like my girl right here, always love to see people coming back. It lets me know that I'm doing something right. um, yeah, so with all that said, I'm very grateful for all of you guys who do end up tapping in, even if it's just briefly. um, but yeah, so this is going to be a collective reading for the strawberry moon. So I had to do my own research on it because, as much as I would love to get into like astrology and all that stuff, I don't know that much. I'm not that well versed in it yet, and moonology and all that stuff. Um, the strawberry moon is about like, it's like a very blissful time for a lot of people. There's a abundance of energy and, overall happiness and things like that. And it's also about like seeing the fruits of your labor coming together. It's like that harvest kind of coming together, all the things that might have been dormant at one point in time coming together and coming alive. So you might feel a little more lively lately, or maybe feel very lively now. You might feel like that tomorrow. It's happening, like this evening, from what I understand. And I think, if I remember correctly, it only happens every like 16 or 17 years or something like that. It's almost every 20 years. So, yeah, something along those lines. And that's very, very cool. Um, 1 second. And yeah, so with all that said, we're gonna get started. Like I said, this is just a collective message. This is not for personals at this time. I will probably be resuming them either this week or next week. Now that I am on break from my job. um, After working with kids all day, I really don't have the energy a lot of the time. But I definitely want to get back into doing what I was doing because, I really like connecting with you guys on here and stuff like that. So let's get started. We're going to start with the Moonology deck, which is just fitting, considering the fact that this is a, strawberry moon reading. All right, Spirit, what does the collective need to know at this time for their highest good, clearest, and most accurate messages when it comes to the energy that they're manifesting and or releasing at this time during this moon phase? What do they need to know at this time? All right. As I said, what do you need to or releasing, because this is really about more about what you're welcoming in, but it does say what do you need to release. Waning moon is here. So some of you might be in the process of releasing something during this cycle, which is very interesting for that to be on the bottom of the deck. But let's see what actually comes out. There's most accurate messages for the collective. All right, I feel connected to this card. What is this? Have faith in your dreams. Waxing crescent moon. Now, that might be one of the things that you have to release. And the reason why I'm saying this is because it's in the reverse. That's the way it came out initially. The thing that you might be having to work on releasing in order to welcome in what you've been working hard on and trying to manifest is fear. So I'm going to put it in the spread in the reverse. So there's something that might be causing you to feel a sense of fear when it comes to the things that you're working towards, whatever that may be. Um, for some people, even before I started this reading, while I was prepping, one of the things I was picking up was maybe people moving, physically moving, and that could be very daunting. And when I say move, I don't mean like moving like to the next side of town. I mean like moving in like to a whole different state. Um, if you live in the states, that is. Um, so on and so forth. So like something like kind of far. Hmm. I also got for I'm about to say it, cars honking outside and stuff. That's usually confirmations. Somebody might be like a parent of a like a college bound kid, and their kid is about to go to college, and they are going out of state, and you might be fearful about that. Let me know if that resonates with anybody. um, but yeah, so let's keep going. Let's see what else comes up. Hi, Samir. How are you? Thank you for tapping in. Tell us more. Like that message was a little more specific, but like if anybody does resonate with that, even if it's people who watch like later once the live is posted, let me know if that resonates. Surrender to the divine. What the fuck is going on out there? Full moon. Hey Aya, what's up, girl? Welcome. Miss you. Yeah, surrender to the divine. Full moon, and the full moon is usually about energy release as well. So even though the strawberry moon is about like what you're manifesting, the things that are like coming together after putting a lot of hard work into something, there is definitely that lingering energy of releasing here too. We have a new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra, but that was in reverse. So for some of you, you're releasing an old cycle when it comes to romance. If that resonates with anybody, let me know in the comment section. Interesting. No worries. I'm happy you're here now. That's all that matters to me. Always grateful for you, girl. When my sister is in the building, make sure you check her out. I would definitely suggest subscribing to her channel too. She does amazing readings, and she's also open for and available for personal readings, like paid services. So, and she, look, I've paid her before, okay, more than once as a reader. So that lets you know she's on point. When another reader pays or a reader pays another reader for a reading, you know that they're good. We also have bring love into the situation. New moon in Aquarius here. So I'm not gonna front. I feel like I'm getting love vibes from this reading. Like I feel like some people are releasing old love to welcome in new love, just based on what I'm seeing so far. Let's get one more from here. Oh, that spirit guides me to pull another one. But like when I was burning my sage, and I burned some Palo Santo after, like I was sneezing like crazy. Like I was perfectly like fine. And all of a sudden I was sneezing like crazy, like a whole sneeze attack. I was like, what the fuck is going on here? And then I was fine, and I'm fine now. But like literally about maybe 10 minutes before I started this reading, I was like sneezing like crazy, and it was like very shortly after I burnt the sage. I'm like, what the heck? So, and then I said to myself, like, this is like a purging energy. All right, we got these all wanted to come out. I'm gonna take them. All right, so we have, it's time to take action. New moon in Aries. Along with a time for healing, balsamic moon. And that came out also with balance, spirituality, and practicality, full moon in Pisces. So when I'm picking up from those cards, especially like together, I feel like a lot of you guys like have been in a, I heard dormant, like you've been in a dormant place maybe when it comes to love, because I'm definitely picking up on love for a lot of you guys. I'm happy that I just happened to say, oh, let me just bring out one of my love decks. Like I was gonna leave it there. It's like I'm not sure, and I was like, just in case, if that's the energy that I pick up on, I'm gonna just bring it over here just in case. And lo and behold, I'm picking up on that throughout this reading so far. So anywho, I feel like things have been dormant, and you've been maybe in a cycle or a phase of healing, working on yourself, self-love. I'm getting for some of you, not putting so much effort into other people outside of yourself when it comes to love, um getting stuff like that. So this has been like a time for, like it says, healing. I'm getting hermit mode. Like I wouldn't be shocked if the hermit were to come out in the tarot when we start pulling the tarot cards. But I think that it's almost, I heard all work and no play. So some of you guys might have been like kind of pouring yourself into other things so that you don't have to think about the fact that maybe you've been feeling a little bit lonely. Let me know if it resonates. Don't shoot the messenger. Remember, this is a collective, so it's not going to resonate with every single person. Some parts might, some parts might not. It might not be your reading at all, and that's perfectly okay. But for somebody, even if it's just one person, somebody is going through this and is meant to see this reading. So anywho, but I'm getting that this might be a time to start kind of, learning how to take the things that you've been through and, find a sense of balance. So being able to apply the lessons, be able to start opening up again when it comes to, possibly going out on dates and things like that, welcoming in the possibility of romance and love back into your life after a period of dormancy. Um, because you have been working on the healing, and they're basically saying like, okay, you've been doing your work, you've been working on yourself, and that's good. So now this is a time to maybe kind of step into that and say, you know what, I think I want to take on the possibility of welcoming love back into my life, which is very cool. All right, what we got here? Your commitment is being tested. First quarter moon. I'm getting it's like commitment to self, honestly. Like I feel like, how committed to yourself are you, right? Sometimes when we go through those periods of loneliness and things like that, sometimes we forget about the importance of being able to, like, how can I put it? I'm also hearing things at the same time, so I'm like, like, okay, I'm trying to like deliver this part of the message, and then I'm also hearing stuff. Sorry, so bear with me. But okay, so let me say this part first, and I'll also say what I kind of was picking up on. All right, so your commitment to self, right? Your sense of self-worth, big one. When it comes to welcoming in somebody into your life again, right? So it's like, for those of you who have been resonating with this reading thus far, that might be one of the things that has been one of the things that's been a test. You might be one of those kind of people who tends to, like, when meet somebody who you're really interested in, you're just in their full force all the time, every single time. And now they're saying, well, how committed are these people to you, and are they even ready for the same commitment that you're willing to give to them? Hence why they're saying, how committed are you to yourself? Because being able to recognize when it's appropriate to be able to put yourself out there in that capacity, I think that might be one of the challenges for some of y'all. Let me know what resonates in the comment section. All right, bottom of the deck we have, it's time to release negativity, full moon in Scorpio. Top of the deck we have, expect powerful change, new moon and eclipse. And then the middle of the deck we have, your hard work is paying off. Wow, didn't I just say that a little while ago? New moon in Capricorn. So yeah, it's like, they're basically saying, this has definitely been a trying time for some of you when it comes to this, and it's been a challenge, but there are things that are about to start shifting and changing. and they're letting you know, and that's the whole purpose of the strawberry moon, is all about seeing the fruit of your labor actually coming together. um Very interesting how those cards kind of played out like that. All right, so I am going to now read from the Gateway Light Activation deck, and we'll see what else the spirit guides have to say when it comes to this energy here. And yeah, so let's just see what's going on. Shuffle. So far, so good. I'm kind of liking the energy. I didn't know where it was gonna go. I was like, should I just like bring over, some love decks, Shepherd career and finance decks. I was like, let me just, have them close by. But the one that I was like the most like, I really feel drawn to these, and I just feel like I should bring them over just in case, was my love deck. And I have like a deck like that's like this thick that has two decks within one. I combined a couple of decks together, and I felt really drawn to it, so it makes sense. I didn't really feel that drawn to the career one, so now it makes a lot more sense. Now, again, keep in mind that this is just a collective message, so some of the stuff might resonate and some of it might not, and that's perfectly okay. We're gonna, keep going and see what pops up, and you know, I hope that the message does resonate with you guys. All right, so here on the bottom of the deck we have Serious Star Blessings. Yes, proceed, be seen, push through. So definitely an energy of going forward, onward and upward when it comes to, the things that you have been working through, pursuing, so on and so forth. Again, I'm picking up for a lot of people, this is going to be related to love. Please take the messages as they resonate. If you're resonating with this, they're definitely saying, yeah, put yourself out there a little bit, have fun, mingle, you know. Um, the weather's changing, and it's like, depending on where you live anyway. Like I live in, Connecticut on the New York line, and the weather's a little wonky in the tri-state area in general, but New England, but nonetheless, like throat chakra is acting funny all of a sudden. Um, yeah, this might be a nice time to like, go have fun. Like my coworkers today, they actually went to happy hour for the last day of school, and I chose not to because like my social battery just was like, nope, not today. um, but no, I have a little bit of a case of FOMO. I'm like, damn, maybe I should have went, but it's fine. So we have Stargate Heart. Yep, see, there we go. Confirmation of what I was picking up on. Heart chakra opening, unlocking, and generosity. So this is definitely, hey, babe. This is definitely a time for some of you guys to start, opening up that heart chakra and allow love in. I say that as my guy just tapped into their thing. Oh, look at me blushing. But anywho, tell us more. What else does the collective need to know at this time? Yeah, I was like, nope, I am not going to happy hour. And I never turned down happy hour, but I was so fucking tired. I was like, nope, it's not happening today. They were still texting me like a couple hours ago. They're like, oh, you coming out? I'm like, nope. Have fun. Take a shot for me. All right, so we have Star Gathering. Stars aligned, remembering home and soul families. So this might be a time to start pay attention to the people around you that you feel close connections to, you feel aligned with at this time, because those are people who you're meant to have in your life in some kind of capacity. Whether it's your friends, family, co-workers, so on and so forth, your romantic partners, so on and so forth. Like if you've been just feeling really, really drawn to like, um, I heard reconnecting. For some of you, you might be reconnecting with somebody. It could be romantically, but it could just be in general. Maybe there's somebody. Okay, I'm picking up on a narrative. Let me know if this resonates with anybody. There might be some of you who had disconnected from somebody for a while, and this person might be somebody who is actually worthy of reconnecting with, reconciling with. Like you might have had some type of falling out with, and that might be why my throat chakra is acting up now. Excuse me. So like, let me know if that resonates. Like this person, either they want to talk to you or you want to talk to them, or there's going to be some type of mutual conversation, possibly. That seems very specific for somebody. Like I said, that's not going to resonate with everybody. That part is not going to resonate with everybody. But just generally speaking, this is definitely about being in alignment with the people in your life that are meant to be there, right? People who have a very, how can I put it? A giving heart in the same way that you have a giving heart. I'm getting people who have overextended themselves many times over and are learning how to, essentially decipher who is meant to be in their life at this time and who's not. And that might be why there's like that more of that energy of releasing rather than receiving at this time. I know that's a really weird way to state it, but like that's what I'm picking up on. I was picking up on more of a purging vibe, even though this is supposed to be like what you're welcoming in. But the thing is, there's that blockage. I think that's what it is. There's a blockage there, especially when it comes to the heart chakra. Some of you might be having like, bear with me. Some of you might be having like heart palpitations. Some of you might actually have heart problems, like high blood pressure and things like that. Things with like your valves. I'm getting something like that for somebody. I'm also getting, some of you might have like acid reflux and things like that, heartburn. This is, like I said, very specific. This is not going to be for everybody. I'm getting something like that though for someone. What else am I picking up on here? I heard homesick. I'm not sure if like any of you guys are like away from like family or something, loved ones, or they're going away. I said that earlier in the reading because like I was picking up on somebody might have a kid that might be getting ready to be college bound and they're going to be out of state. Somebody might be getting ready to go through somebody might be getting ready to go through like empty nest syndrome, and it's like really like, I get it because I have an 18-year-old, so I understand. My son is like not near me, so I get that. Somebody might be getting ready to go through that too. I'm getting a lot of different messages. I don't want to hold y'all up too long though, so let me keep reading. I'll pull like maybe 2 or 3 more from this deck, and then we'll move into the tarot portion. If the messages are resonating, let me know in the comment section because there's a lot going on here, a lot of moving parts. All right, so we have Seraphim's Gateway, voice activation. Remember I was talking about the throat chakra. Angelic attunement, divine support. Along with, that's funny, I just had a feeling this card was going to come out. Palladian activation, come together right now over me. Some of you might be Beatles fans or Michael Jackson fans. I know I am both, but whatever. Harmony in the heavens and resolution. I also just heard we need a resolution. Aaliyah. Some of you might be Aaliyah fans. Anywho, some of you also might like to sing. I just heard karaoke. So some of you guys, and this again, very, very separate message for somebody. Go out, have fun. Some of you might like to do karaoke and they're kind of urging you to go out and do karaoke. Have a good time. Because we did see an energy of like needing to like kind of let loose a little bit. Have a good time. You've been maybe working too much. Let me know if that makes any sense. But yeah, nonetheless. I'm also getting that this might be a time to, sorry, give me a second. All right, one of the messages I'm getting is this might be a time for you guys to start praying more. So whatever you believe in, you know, if you believe in God, praying to God, you know, talking to your ancestors, you know, talking to your higher self, whatever it means to you. It will be different for everybody, but I am getting something like that. Using your voice more in order to welcome and support so that you can work on finding a solution to some of the things that you have going on, you know, not feeling like you have to do everything by yourself. I think that you guys feel free, and I felt that energy even earlier. Like I was feeling like the energy of like loneliness. So if that resonates, let me know. It's feeling like kind of like, damn, like when are things gonna get better? And it's like, well, sometimes we have to accept help. And also, if it's not outside of yourself, or sorry, if it's not like in a spiritual sense, like outside of yourself, like spiritually speaking, like God, blah blah blah, like it could be just like people close to you too, like using your voice to speak up and say, hey, I need help, I can't do all this by myself, whether it's paying bills or, you know, needing help with household chores, or, you know, going to therapy. I'm getting a lot of different messages here, you know, going to the clergy and, you know, welcoming that type of help too, like whatever you're into, like whatever you believe in, you know, or whatever you actually need in terms of services. I'm getting somebody who might be I heard malnourished. I'm getting somebody who might be going through some financial problems, um living kind of paycheck to paycheck kind of thing. That seems very specific for someone, but they're just saying also, like, you know, again, let people know that you're going through this, because if you're one of those prideful people, you might be a Leo. um if you're that type of person who, like, you don't like people in your business, which I get because I'm the same way. I'm a Sagittarius, but I understand. I don't like people in my business either. I save face all the time. People, if people knew the shit that I go through on a regular basis, they would be like, no fucking way. I'm like, yeah, way. Like, but I always keep a smile on my face, you know. But sometimes, you know, it's okay to let down your guard and, you know, remove that. I saw 27, as I said that. Remove the facade, the mask that you might be wearing on a daily basis, so that people can see that you do need help. I'm getting something like that. All right, we have angelic frequency. Angels are here. You are safe. Potent connection. Remember, I was just saying that, you know, some of you might like benefit from becoming more connected to source in some kind of way, whatever that means to you. Yeah. And we also have the central sun, abundance, downloads, regeneration, and success. Look at that. I like that energy. Those came out together. It's like to welcome in the successes and things like that that are getting ready to start coming towards you. You have to be able to kind of do a little bit of, you know, releasing. But you also have to be able to accept help. One more from here. And then we'll do some tarot. For the tarot portion, I think I'm going to do maybe a cross of truth. And we'll get some insight from the Ascended Masters and some advice. And that'll be the end of the reading, I think. Alright, so what we got here? Excuse me. Alright, so we have two cards that came out. We have Anunnaki Light Codes. It says energetic shift, exactly. New information and end of a cycle. Confirmation of the things that we've been seeing throughout this reading already. Wow. And it came out along with Hathor Light Codes, Light Immersion, Full System Upgrade, and Power Recall. This is a time to recall your power, right? Reclaiming it, knowing that you have the power to be able to essentially do what it is that you've been wanting to do, right? Being able to stand up for yourself, being able to speak your truth, use your voice, ask for help, open up your heart. Different things for different people, so on and so forth. But there is definitely endings happening. We did see that energy show up because we also saw this earlier. Excuse me. And for some of you, this could be love related. A new romantic cycle begins, but it was in the reverse. So for some of you, this is love related, and there's something happening in that department of your life. We are going to see more. Bottom of the deck, we have, and that's the truth. I love this card. It's my favorite card in the deck. Sort of like divine protection, cords cut. Yep, cutting out that energy, and breakthrough energy here on the bottom of the deck. Along with on the top, we have crown chakra. Yes, you're about to start getting a lot of downloads from your spirit guides and stuff like that. So, and source, pay attention. Divine connection. We talked about being connected, right, spiritually. Holy experiences and miraculous energy. Wow, I like that. Middle of the deck, we have, it's in the reverse. What is this? Orion activation, supernova, recreation, renewal, rebirth by light. So this is about transmutation. Ironically enough, there's one person in here and 3 lights. Adds up to 13. The number 13 represents transformation, death, and rebirth. So the fact that we see this energy here right now. Now the thing is, there might still be something that you're working on that is causing, again, maybe a little bit of a delay or a blockage. However, you're working towards it. So this is just a time to make sure that you recognize that, you know, you are doing the work, right? You know, source recognizes the work that you've been doing, so on and so forth. But, you know, it's just, you know, it's really just about, you know, remaining optimistic, and also, you know, I'm really getting just like accepting help. That's a big one for a lot of you. Acknowledging when, you know, you feel like you're depleted, you can't do everything. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. Trust me, I understand how that feels like to be in that position, because I'm very much the same way. I like to do everything by myself. I very rarely ask for help from others. But if that resonates with you, let me know in the comment section. This is a time to kind of start to, you know, be willing to accept help the same way that you give help. Yeah, something like that. All right, so I know I said I was going to move on to the tarot, but I forgot I wanted to really pull from here too. The energy oracle deck, because this will give us a little more insight of what might be going on in the lives of you guys when it comes to something a little more specific. Let's get a couple more shuffles, and then we'll pull from the tarot. All right, see? Magician and the Mirror. So this is all about manifestation, which ironically enough, that was the whole purpose of this reading. What are you guys manifesting? Now, the thing is this. I think a lot of you guys don't recognize your power, and I talked about that earlier too. Some of you guys might not recognize the power that you possess when it comes to being able to have the power and control over the things that happen in your life. You kind of maybe leave things up to chance, or say, I can't do anything to fix it, whatever. Well, you know, sometimes, you know, discernment is being able to know what it is that you can work on, what you can control, and actually utilizing your power in those capacities. Some of you might also resonate with the idea of using different elements to be able to manifest. Those of you who are into like moon magic, or, you know, working with fire, working with water, like, you know, people who collect rainwater. That's an example of somebody who might work with water. There's or manifest by bodies of water and meditate and stuff like that, so on and so forth. Working with the elements in order to manifest. I'm getting that as well. Let me know if that resonates with anybody. All right, so let's get maybe 3 or 4 from here. I knew this card was going to show up for some reason, because we're talking about what's coming in, right? We're talking about, you know, what, like the fruit of your labor that's about to start coming through. I wouldn't be shocked if cornucopia were to show up too. Blossoming abundance. There's 3 people in here and 3 likes, the number 3 on this card. So you might be seeing 333 a lot, or variations of 3s and whatnot. either in succession or like 6. You might be seeing 9. You might be seeing 369. Damn, she maybe 1 second to one more time. Oh, sorry. Um, let my inner ratchet go. But no, seriously. That's like the divine number. So you might be seeing that number a lot. And that's about being really, really connected, right? But you're about to start seeing some things happening. Let's get a few more from here. Thank you. Ooh, see? Look at that. See, I'm telling you. It's love related for a lot of you guys. It is love related. I'm telling you. Look, so we have hearing connections, which I saw this in my mind's eye earlier as I was pulling decks off of the shelf. And when I pulled this deck, there were certain cards I saw them in my mind's eye, and I was like, I just have a feeling those cards will come out. The cards that came out so far, I felt like I was going to see. I didn't feel this one, but it makes sense because we talked about the heart chakra before. Fourth chakra Archangel Raphael is here, and we talked about the heart chakra earlier from another deck. So that's some confirmations there that are needed to be seen. So yeah, and those came out together. So it's time to open up that heart chakra. I just heard, listen to your heart when it's calling for you. Listen to your heart. There's nothing else you can do. Yeah, see, look, Angel of Love on the bottom of the deck. What? Okay. Collective journey. I did say something about some of you might be physically moving. I was feeling that earlier for someone. Others, it could just be like this is a part of your journey when it comes to, discovering love in your life again. I don't want to use the word finding love because it's like, or going after it, but like it happens on its own. Like when it's meant to happen, it's going to happen. But the whole purpose here, I feel, is more about just being able to release the stuff that no longer serves you so that you can welcome it in. I just heard, let the sun shine, let the sun shine in. We have man holding a coin. For some of you, this person who's coming into your energy could possibly be an earth sign. Possibly. So, somebody who's stable, could be slightly stubborn. You could be the earth sign possibly too. Tell us more. I have Capricorn in my chart, so I'm very, very stubborn. I can be, for sure. Definitely have my moments. I'm like, damn. All right. Woman holding a heart. See? Everything's coming back to like the heart space. Love. We saw the angel of love. Now we got the woman holding a heart. Heart chakra is like, wow. This is definitely like a love reading kind of thing. I might. We'll see how many people like stick around or whatever. I might pull from the love deck too. Maybe get some insight about who this person might be. So we could learn more. Yeah. Yep, there we go. Officially here. Well, no. This card and the magician card almost look the same to me. They're obviously different, but it's the healer of the ages. So this is definitely a part about like you guys healing when it comes to something when it comes to love. And I said that earlier. So that's a little bit of confirmation of what I was picking up on before. Let's get one more from here. Wow. Angel of Strength. Some of you might have Leo in your chart. But the energy I'm also picking up on is just this energy of like individuals who are just, you're trying to just find it within yourself to move forward from whatever this was. And I get it, trust me. But the thing is, like, on the other side of this, there's some really positive stuff. You have to detach from those things. And then I talked about wearing a mask earlier. There's a mask in her hand. Taking that mask off and being able to acknowledge, okay, you know what? I've been hurt. Like, I've been through a lot of stuff. And it's okay. I'm healing. I'm working on myself. That's okay. You don't have to always pretend that everything's perfectly fine. I'm getting people who are perfectionists and always care about like how they appear. To 39, 39, as I said that. People who care so much about how other people perceive them. But how about your own self-image? Don't worry about everybody else and, how you present yourself to the world. Worry about how you feel about yourself at this time. Door of Romance is on the top of the deck. I'm just saying, the more that you realize and recognize that, like, it's not about everybody else. It's about yourself at this time and how you perceive your own circumstances. What it is that you want when it comes to moving forward. That's what's going to allow you to welcome in this abundance of love. And this was after a period of, some bullshit. It was painful. It hurt. Storm warning is there. You went through a lot of stuff. That's like the tower moment part of this deck. Like you went through a lot of stuff to get to this point. But the whole thing is, it's like, you know, why hold yourself up when it comes to, welcoming in what it is that you've been wanting this whole time. Hence why this is the strawberry moon, right? This is all about what it is that you're trying to manifest. The fruit of your labor coming together. I'm gonna pull from the my love deck, which is technically two decks in one. Hopefully I don't like drop them all over the fucking place because they're slippery. um, but yeah, we'll get a few from here to get maybe some more insight about this situation here. Because I am definitely picking up on love. I mean, we saw so much stuff about the heart chakra, literally the words love, heart, all this stuff coming up. I'm like, okay, Spirit is letting us know that for a lot of people, that's what this reading is going to be about. And, if you don't resonate, that's perfectly fine. For some of you, this could be your current circumstances or energy coming in, recent past for others, confirmation. um, so, again, take the messages as they resonate, being that this is a collective. Some of these messages might not resonate at all. So, just take the messages if they do. Yeah, romance. On the bottom of the deck. Revel, flow, savor, entice, open yourself to romance. Exactly. And I said that, right? I was just saying, allowing love in, welcoming love into your life. I'm also getting possible, like, twin flame vibes. I'm getting stability. This is giving me, like, Four of Wands energy. Interesting. I'm also getting, for some of you, if there's a person already in your life who you feel like you're connected to, this person might be confirmation again. You might know them, like, within your community in some kind of way. So, like, church, work, something like that. A friend of a friend type of thing. Something like that I'm getting for somebody. You might actually already know who this person is, which is kind of cool because it might mean that you'll start off in a solid way, like maybe as friends first, which is always nice. I think that those are the most positive relationships personally. Once I start off as friends, there's always a good probability that you'll remain friends even if things for whatever reason don't work out, because you already had that solid foundation. It wasn't based on just sex and lust and all that stuff. Like, it was based on something a little more genuine and concrete, and then moved into that. Just saying. Split energy, and that makes sense because we talked about this earlier. Options, unfocused, multitasking, decide what you really want. Now, see, it does come down to free will in a sense, and I wouldn't be shocked if the free will card were to show up, because a lot of you guys, remember I was talking about like a blockage somewhere? That's kind of that energy there. We're talking about individuals who do end up resonating with this reading, or this part of the reading at least. That heart chakra, there's a blockage there somewhere. And I did talk about like some of the symptoms that you might be feeling for a blocked heart chakra if you want to rewind back, if you end up watching later. But yeah, when that heart chakra is blocked, it makes it very, very difficult for you to be able to, welcome in this energy that you're trying to, manifest. So just keep that in mind when, you know, you're being a hard ass. When there's somebody who you like and they like you and stuff, and you know what I mean? Yeah, see, look at that. Look, you can't make this shit up. Spirit is like, look. Mystery, magic, intrigue, suspense. You're entering an unknown territory. And the thing is, and here goes the left side of my nose starting to itch. That's usually past energy. See, the reason why you're afraid of the unknown is because whatever you dealt with in the past did not work out. That's the one I fell on the floor. Like that's like I heard out with the old and in with the new. The answer to your question is no. So there might have been a person from your past who you might have still kind of wondered, I wonder if. Like, no. Absolutely fucking not. They're done. They're a done deal, whoever that past person might be. Take the message as it resonates. But there might, for some of you who do resonate with this, I'm getting like there's a past energy lingering around with their energy, and it makes it hard for you to move forward and truly heal, because there might be that little part of you that still wonders, like, what if? No, let that person go so that you can move forward with your life. Yeah, this person might have ghosted you. We have lost, ghosted, blocked, cut off. Whether they blocked you and stuff like that, or ghosted you, or vice versa, either way, even if there's that little part of you that wonders, like, I wonder, no, absolutely fucking not. No. I'm also getting that person might have had like a drinking problem or something like that, or you met like at a bar or something like that. Let me know if that resonates with anybody, if this is making sense or resonating. But yeah, they're basically kind of also letting you know, like, there's something so much more stable getting ready to come towards you, but you have to allow yourself to release that old energy. I'm getting, like, for some of you it could be like a soul tie. I'm honestly picking up on that too. I started kind of, you see how, like, I can't even get my words out. I started getting a little bit of an icky feeling. I don't like that. I don't like that feeling. And now my heart is starting to like race. My hand started getting clammy. This person is giving me like anxiety. I don't like it. I don't like that feeling at all. What's my heart rate right now? Because I was just chilling. All of a sudden, I just didn't feel so good. Yeah. My resting is a 78, and it went up to like 90 out of nowhere. I'm just sitting here. Y'all see me. Yeah, I don't like that feeling. This person makes you uncomfortable, and they're making me uncomfortable. Okay, let's keep shuffling. I don't like that energy. All right, that's the past person. Ugh. Anybody who makes you feel anxious around them, definitely not the energy you need to be around. You want somebody who makes you feel like you can let your guard down, and who makes you feel very comfortable when you're around them in their presence. We have lessons here. Knowledge, understanding, look for the lesson in this situation. Definitely had to learn a lesson, right? Remember I said I'm picking up on karmic lessons. I said that earlier. Yeah. Get one or two more from here. I do hope that this message is resonating with someone. Even if it's just one person who can say, oh, this is my story, then I know that I've done my due diligence. Because I know, like, with collective readings, it's like a hit or a miss. Like, sometimes it really hits close to home for some, and for others, they're like, this is not my story. And it's perfectly understandable, but I do hope that at least resonate with one person, right? We have single, current status available. So somebody's available and ready to mingle. It could be your energy. It could be this new person coming in, which is good, because you definitely want to have already shedded away that old energy that was lingering around. I decided to look on the bottom of the deck, and it says realization. awareness, finding out, and coming to light. So I'm almost kind of getting like, now that you're about to really start focusing on yourself when it comes to putting yourself out there again, when it comes to dating, for those of you who do resonate with this reading, um, I'm even getting like, you might like go on a dating website and then like an ex might see you on there and be like, oh, so they really like out there putting themselves like that, like, and feel a certain way about it. Fuck that person. They could suck a dick. But anyway, um, oops. But yeah, like that person might have felt, made you feel like tied down to them at one point, and but then acting single. I'm getting that too. You might have found out some information about this person that made you like not want to, deal with them anymore. I'm getting a few different narratives here, but yeah. Yeah, and that could have been what caused the separation here in the middle of the deck. No contact. 5D, dreams, nightmares, focus on your own happiness. You might be like, sometimes, especially like as you're trying to detach from this person, especially if it's like a karmic, um, you might, or you have a soul tie with them possibly. As you're working on removing yourself from this person, I'm getting that some of you might be feeling like you feel their energy lingering around. They might pop up out of nowhere in your head, or you might dream about them. Songs that y'all used to like listen to might come up and stuff like that. That could be them like in their higher self trying to connect with you. But the thing is, I feel like you guys are like, yeah, nah, I'm good on that. I don't. That's not the energy that I want for myself. Let me know if that resonates. Um, if that is the case, I would suggest doing like a cord cutting ritual. There's different ways to do it. You can look online. Is this from this deck? Is this a different card? Yeah, see, this card doesn't even belong here. I'm gonna take it. I saw it while I was shuffling. Um, Lone Wolf. Are you really a loner, or are you afraid of loving someone who could hurt you? How funny is that? That we're talking about a sense of fear when it comes to moving on from someone, and this is the card that was hiding from a different deck within this deck. This doesn't belong here. This does not belong here at all. This is from a whole different deck. That's crazy. But wow. Yeah. So you might feel, and I said something about feeling a sense of loneliness, right? I also just heard feeling a void. Yeah. So you might have tried to figure out ways to kind of fill a void at different periods of time when it comes to that heart space. Overworking is one of the things you might be doing. Just staying home all the time, which in and of itself is not bad, but if you've been doing that for, say, years, okay, you might need to start kind of, getting out of that hermit mode. Yeah, see? You can't make this shit up. Spirit, come on now. Alone came out. Wow. Wow. Abandoned, lonely, lost. The divine is with you. We talked about the divine earlier too. That connection with the divine, and how I was saying like sometimes it might, you might feel lonely, but this is also a time to focus on your connection with the divine too. Finding the divine within yourself as a divine masculine or a divine feminine as well. I'm getting cycles here on the bottom of the deck. Momentum, force, life cycles. Stay grounded in the new. So, going with the flow of life, things happen. There's always going to be those ebbs and flows, but just understanding that there's always, a way to come out of them. Pressure cooker, rage ready to explode. You might be dealing with a little bit of anger. I'm also getting for some of you that you might experience it too, especially when you're dealing with like that sense of loneliness, right? Like you don't necessarily want to feel like that. So it's a hard position to be in when you don't necessarily want to be there, right? Receipts. I'm getting for some of you like one of the reasons why things didn't work out with that past person is because you found out something, and I said that earlier too. I'm like, I feel like you guys like learned something about that person, found something out, and it made you distance yourself from that person. All right, so let's go with the tarot now. I'll try to make the rest of this reading quick. Definitely was talking a little bit more than expected. But got some insight though, right? Like, I mean, definitely got, down to the nitty gritty of a lot of the stuff that's going on with you guys. But I definitely want to pull a few of these also, just to kind of get a little bit more insight, especially of like how to kind of move about the situation. What can y'all do to, kind of work on yourselves and things like that. Releasing that past energy, because here goes that left side of the nose itching again. So this is definitely like, past energy for a lot of you guys. The stuff that's still kind of lingering around. Yeah, but you're moving on. Here on the bottom of the deck we have the Chariot. So, I mean, you're trying to move past it, right? Success and victory after, a trying time of your life. All right, so I was about to say what's the overall energy for the collective. There we go. I like that. The Nine of Pentacles, single, sexy, free. Some of you guys might be Maya fans. I know she performed at the BET Awards last night. I did not watch the BET Awards. I did not watch that performance, but I heard that it was a good performance. I don't know. I didn't watch it. But nonetheless, you're trying to get your money up and you're working on yourself, and you definitely are like, single, doing your own thing, or, again, depending on what part of the journey you're on. This could be your current situation, it could be recent past, this could be what's coming towards you. But nonetheless, like, you're trying to get your money up and you're working on yourself, and, single as a dollar bill, doing your own thing for the majority of you who end up, resonating with this. We also have the Seven of Pentacles here on the bottom of the deck, which is about, watching the fruit of your labor coming together, all that hard work paying off. And we talked about that too. In fact, didn't that card come out in the other deck? Hard work paying off. Let's see if I can find it. Of course not. But it did show up. You have to rewind. But anywho, let's see. Tell us more. Thank you. Yeah, see, we got the Five of Wands here as a challenge. So it's like, I heard between a rock and a hard place. So some of you guys, like, one of the things that's kind of holding you back from getting to that point is some type of conflict, whether it's internal or external. So it's like, what are you going to ask yourself? What do I need to do at this time to get out of this conflict so that I can be where I'm trying to be? Self-reliant, happy, right? Doing your own thing, not worried about other people and all that shit, right? You gotta let go. You gotta release. The Hanged Man here on the bottom of the deck. So anything that's causing you to feel that sense of conflict, again, whether it's internal or external, or maybe both for some, gotta let that shit go. Seize new opportunities. Gotta move forward. Gotta move forward, because there are certain, things that have been kind of lingering in the background that, you're sitting there trying to, move on with your life, but they're holding you back, right? Yeah, take that leap of faith into the unknown, right? So again, we talked about that too. Fear could be one of those things that could be what's causing a conflict, especially internally. If you've been afraid to move forward and, do what it is that you've been, being called to do. In this case, for a lot of you, it has to do with love. Taking that leap of faith and saying, you know what, I'm just gonna go on a date. You know what I mean? Whatever the case, right? What do you do about that? How do you move out the situation? Tell us more. Ooh, okay, I like it. Ace of Cups, yes. So a little confirmation about what we were talking about. That's literally about new love. So it's like, in order to welcome new love in, you have to, like, get a couple of things. We have the Seven of Wands here on the bottom of the deck. So one thing, you have to protect that shit. You got to protect your happiness, because people will come in and try to destroy it. And yeah, you got to be able to say, nah, You're not going to come in and fuck up what I've been working so hard on, right? We've got the strength card here again. Two different decks. Finding that sense of strength within yourself to know how to, put your guard up and say, yeah, no, you're not going to come up in here and disturb my peace and what I've been working hard on. Absolutely not. Yeah. I'm also getting like letting go of fears and anxieties as well, because this is what we're asking, like, to, like, what are we releasing and letting go, right? That particular card. So in order to welcome it in, what you have been wanting, you got to stand your ground. So when people or situations come in trying to disturb your peace, you got to make sure you protect it at all costs, because that, nah, we're not allowing people to come in and fuck that up. Absolutely not. Tell us more. And again, for those of you who end up watching at a later time, if the messages are resonating, hit that like button and subscribe. I would greatly appreciate that support. All right, so we have the Page of Cups that came out. This is kind of what you're welcoming in. I'm kind of getting, though, too, like, you want to start off slow. Like, you're capable of attaining this. Like, that's like those big beginnings, right? Like, that's like marriage and all kind of, like, overall, like, an abundance of happiness. However, I think that a lot of you guys, like, you want to take things slow, which is smart. Not rushing the process. So some of the gestures and stuff that you might be welcoming in might be just like stuff like dates and stuff, date offers and things like that, conversing on the phone. I'm getting stuff like that. Starting off slow so that way you can kind of vet people a little bit, right? Like, understanding what they want, what their intentions are, like, are you on the same page when it comes to, romance and things like that. But either way, they want you to start seizing new opportunities. It's just about being mindful of that, right? But don't be stuck in your head too much. Don't overthink it. Because, you could kind of hold yourself back from some opportunities that might present themselves that are actually worthy of taking. So, you might end up meeting somebody who's very super stable, the Emperor here in the middle of the deck, who has good intentions. So just, be mindful, definitely know the difference between, taking charge with authority over your own life and also being able to release a little bit of control and welcome something in, right? Getting something like that. Tell us more. And everything I just said is the truth. Ace of Swords here, and it came out along with the Moon. The biggest thing right now for a lot of you guys is fear. Fears and anxieties that surround love. That is the big thing here. Making that decision, right? It all comes down to your own decisions when it comes to how do you move about the situation. Because if you're stuck in your head too much about it, it's going to make it very difficult for you to be able to pursue love. So, as much as you want to be, protective of yourself and all of that, because this is like, I feel like this is where you are right now, Seven of Wands. In and of itself is not a bad thing. There's nothing wrong with self-preservation and protecting yourself, so on and so forth. But, if you really are trying to welcome love in the way that you claim, or, let's say you claim if this message resonates, that you claim that you want, you can't have it both ways. You can't be super stoic and like closed off to love, but then say that, oh, but I want to have love in my life. Like it doesn't balance out. So it's like, trust me, I know firsthand that you have to open up that heart chakra, that heart space, in order to welcome it in and let go of the fears and anxieties. Use your lessons that you've learned in the past in a way that allows you to do it in a way that's about adaptability and not maladaptability. Yeah. Because you put a lot of time and effort into the wrong things. And that's caused you to feel, like, I don't know if I really want to go that route again. Understandable. Trust me. I get it. I definitely understand. Tell us more. Thank you. Yeah. So they really want you to just, we got the Three of Swords here. They really want you to just move forward from that. Yeah. You have to take the opportunity to move forward. Yeah. Moving forward. The other ones. It's about leaving things behind. Yeah. Understanding that, we experience different things in life that, are hard, and, you know, the teacher that I work with, for our little morning meeting that we do with our kiddos, she, not we, she added affirmations as a part of our morning meeting, and one of them is, I can do hard things. And all the kids repeat all these different affirmations, and it's really cute. And even I say the affirmations with the kids in the morning. I can do hard things. So, leaving behind, the things that, were meant to destroy you, right? That put you in that place of pain and vulnerability, the betrayals, right? You know, all of those things happened, but guess what? You still came out on top no matter what, right? You're still here standing tall. So now, in the face of adversity, the biggest thing that you can do for yourself now, as a way to overcome these challenges, is say, okay, I'm gonna, take that leap of faith and say, you know what, I know I deserve to have a sense of, companionship in my life. I think this is the time. I like it. Any advice? I'm going to read from two more decks, and that'll be the end of this reading. I do hope that for those of you who did tap in, especially those of you who stuck around, I greatly appreciate you guys. Those of you who watch at a later time, if you got anything out of this, definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. I greatly appreciate you guys for the support. We have King of Pentacles here. So I'm getting, as I'm asking about advice, I'm getting that this is definitely a time of just working on your own sense of security. I'm getting, like, not just financial security, but I'm also getting, like, getting grounded. Like, we were talking about chakras earlier. Maybe spending time outdoors, like in grass, with no shoes on. And, if you're into that kind of thing, meditation, getting grounded, I actually watched a video on Facebook the other day of a dad. He had his daughter with him, right? And she was walking barefoot, and he had I forget what the name of the devices. My dad has one too, where it could look at, like, the charge of something, right? So when something touches it, it'll tell you how much electricity it holds, like the voltage or whatever. And the little girl, she's walking, and he tells her, hey, touch it. It doesn't hurt the kid or the person or anything. It just, again, it sees how much electricity is running through. Um, and it was at a 0. When she stepped on the grass, it spiked up like crazy. And then she stepped back off. Nothing. So the earth is recharging the minerals and things like that, right? There's electricity, like, there's so many things that it does that allows us to feel a sense of grounding. I need to personally start doing that more often myself. So that's a message for somebody who ends up watching this. We have Knight of Wands here on the bottom of the deck. So, pursuing things with a sense of passion, right? Going after the things that you truly want. getting out of a lack mindset, I think, is another thing that they want you to work on at this time with this Five of Pentacles on the top of the deck. If you've been going through any financial hardships and stuff like that, they want you to, work on that sense of security, financial security for some of you. If it's not financial hardship and it's more about the romance part, like we were talking about, like maybe working on a sense of abandonment issues and things like that. For some of you, I'm getting it could be like something that stems as far back as childhood. That could contribute to why you've experienced some of these mishaps. Seems very specific, so let me know if it resonates. Middle of the deck, we have Two of Cups. So, I mean, yeah, confirmation that this is definitely related to love and partnerships, right? We've been talking about it this whole time. Yeah, look, I was talking about family being a possible thing. Like, this card fell on my, like, almost fell on the floor, like, between my legs to expose this card when I was about to put them down. Ten of Cups, which is about family. So, for some of you, this is, about that dynamic, and it's about you being able to, reevaluate what that looks like and what that means to you. We've all been through different things. Some of us had family, dynamics that were really positive growing up, and some of us not so much. So, being able to, acknowledge that yes, you've been through something and you want to work on it and you want to face it, right? It's like shadow work. There's different ways that you can work on that, right? You can do shadow work exercises. You can, look into going to somebody who, looks into trauma. You could do journaling. There's a lot of different things that you could do for yourself. So I would strongly suggest like go to a professional for those kind of things. Somebody who's trauma informed. Interesting. Bottom of the deck we have Metatron and Sandalphon. I hope that's how you say it. Sacred connection. Wow. So we have caring connection and we have sacred connection. Synchronicity, divine connection, understanding lessons. Wow. And we had a card about lessons too. I could literally pull both of those cards up because I could see them. But for those of you who've been here, you saw them. I honestly, just so you guys don't think I'm just saying stuff just to say it, I'm just going to show you the cards that has showed up. And how this card literally like talks about both of those things. Caring connections and lessons. All wrapped into that one card right there on the bottom of the deck. So we're going to get one card from this deck. I'm not going to go crazy. And I'm going to get one card from one more deck, and that'll be the end of this reading. I really hope that you guys resonated with this and that you found it helpful. Definitely enjoyed giving this reading to you guys. I really like this energy for y'all because you guys are definitely doing some a lot of work, a lot of inner work that's going to allow for you to welcome in this abundance of love. Like literally the first card that came out was blossoming abundance. And I feel like it's in different areas of your life, but for a lot of you, it's going to be related to romance. I always feel like I say this name wrong, but I'm going to try it anyway. Melchizedek, I believe is how it's pronounced. Divine knowledge says higher learning, commit your vision through study. So there might be something worth studying right now. Interesting. I'm not sure what that might be, but I'm kind of getting the energy of individuals who might, I'm getting two different things. I'm getting like, actually three. I'm getting Hermit, Hierophant, and High Priestess vibes from that one card. So the Hermit is about doing like a lot of internal work, like, self-discovery and stuff like that. Studying something. And then like the High Priestess is about like inner knowledge, like people who have, psychic abilities and things like that. Esoteric knowledge, so on and so forth. I think I said inner knowing. No, I didn't say inner knowing, but that as well. And then I'm also picking up on like the Hierophant, which is about like counsel. It's about a teacher, spiritual advisors, um, pastors, priests, so on and so forth. I'm not sure if any of you guys are thinking about going to that as a work field. That seems very specific for somebody. Um, for others, it's just this might be a time to kind of seek help in when it comes to those kind of people. I'm getting more than one message there. So let me know if that resonates for anyone. Especially with this on the bottom of the deck, I just happened to look to see what was there. Kathumi, initiatory experience. Your current situation is initiating your gifts. So some of you might end up learning about some of your own gifts, hence why it says higher learning and study. You might learn about your own gifts through this experience. Not for nothing, I kind of went through that myself. Like, it took me going through a very karmic relationship for me to realize I had these gifts. Like, my intuition used to be on fucking fire. I always knew something was wrong, and I just would, like, dumb it down, like, oh no, you're just crazy. Like, no, bitch, you're not crazy. You're actually fucking dead ass right, and you're allowing this motherfucker to gaslight you and make you feel like you don't know what the hell you're talking about and you're crazy. Like, no. I knew exactly what was happening the whole time. And I that's when I got into tarot. Like, this was, like, what, 4 years ago. And yeah, like, I started seeing somebody, a spiritual advisor or whatever. And then that's when I realized I had gifts. I was like, wait, what? This whole time I thought it was just like, I thought something was just wrong with me. Like, my whole life. I mean, granted, I got a little bit screws loose too, but it comes with the Fernandez name, That's my last name. I joke about that all the time. My dad's side. We all a little bit crazy. But no, it's, wow, there is some, like, a little bit of screws loose. I say this all with love. I love you guys. For those of my family members who sometimes tap in. No, we're also very, very spiritually connected and gifted. A lot of us are empaths and stuff. But I say that to make the point that, for some of you, you might experience something very similar or going through that now, where it's like you might have been going through a lot of stuff throughout your life where, your whole life you've been told, oh, that's not normal, or there's something wrong, there's something crazy about you, blah 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 blah. And here you are, like, am I really off? Is there really something wrong with me? And now you're realizing, no, this whole time you just have gifts that have been kind of, dormant, that you put on the back burner because you're like, I don't know if something's wrong with me. And you're realizing now that, you know, a lot of these things that you've been feeling and seeing, so on and so forth. I'm getting people who might be like clairaudient. That's people who can hear. I'm getting people who can see, clairvoyant. I'm getting people who can smell. There's a word for that one, but I always forget that one. I have that one as well, but I always forget the name. I'm getting mostly those, and empaths as well. So you feel things very strongly, right? And also highly intuitive as well. So those are all technically like psychic abilities. I put air quotes because whatever. But technically we all have these abilities. It's more about those of us who are willing to nurture and foster them so that they can enhance. So, the more of your brain, for instance, that you allow yourself to utilize. That's why kids are able to see things that we can't see. Like, people think, oh, they just have an imaginary friend. Like, no, it's deeper than that. It's not an imaginary friend. Like, what they're seeing is real. We just can't see it because we've been taught that, oh, that stuff's not real, it's fake, blah blah blah. That's a whole different conversation though. But that's why kids are, so much able to, connect in that way, because they're so innocent and they're not tainted the way that we are, where we are told, oh, that stuff's fake, blah 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 blah. That's why a lot of kids around the age of like 5-ish, that's when they don't see that stuff anymore. Those things don't happen anymore. Again, a whole different conversation. Alright, so let's get a card from here. I did see mirror on the bottom of the deck here, which is talking about just like paying attention to, the inner and the outer things happening within yourself, or happening in your energy, because they're connected. Let's get one card from here, and that'll be the end of this reading. Let's see. I'm gonna take both of these cards. I feel like they're both meant to come out. All right, see? This card showed up in a different deck earlier in the reading. It said Journey. So it says the Journey. Number here is 54. So that definitely lets me know that there's an ending happening. You're approaching the ending of a part of that journey that you're on. You are learning that every challenge you face has a hidden gift inside. Absolutely. Along with Source. Your connection to Source, and I talked about that earlier, is the light and love that shines through you and leads the way. I talked about that earlier as well. The fact that a lot of you guys right now are being called to kind of rely on your connection to Source a little bit more, the higher power, whatever you believe in, so that way you can work on yourself and have that sense of motivation when it comes to overcoming the things that you've been dealing with. Because sometimes, again, when you feel alone and you're doing everything by yourself, eventually it taps you out. Like you can't feel like that all the time. So there's nothing wrong with being able to look outside of yourself and understand that there is that source of power that can help, push you through everything. So, being more connected when it comes to the higher power, whatever you believe in, um, is probably the optimal thing to do at this time. Bottom of the deck, we have wishful thinking. You are learning how to manifest the life you desire. We talked about the whole purpose of this reading was about manifestations. Top of the deck, we have tough love. Yeah, you had to learn a big time lesson. And number here is 49, adds up to 13. I talked about the number 13 earlier. Death and rebirth vibes. It is time to tell the truth about something you have been avoiding. So some change is coming through, right? Needing to happen in order to step into this better version of yourself. And middle of the deck, there we go. Confirmation. We have fear. We talked about this throughout this whole reading. And that's the last card I'm looking at. So all comes back full circle. And the number here is 37, which is about completion. Adds up to 10, which is about completion. Your fears are keeping you from moving forward into the life that you deserve. Wow. How is that for coming full circle? So with all that said, guys, I love you guys for being here. For those of you who tapped in, even if it was just for a moment, for those of you who end up watching at a later time and resonate with this, definitely hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Yeah, so that's the end of the reading, and I'm really grateful for all of you guys for being here. And again, if you haven't done so already, definitely hit that like button and that subscribe button, all that good stuff. And yeah, so I hope to go live again maybe one more time this week, and then I'm gonna probably start resuming with doing um, the free readings and stuff for the personals next week, hopefully. Uh, yeah, so with all that said, you guys have a great evening and enjoy the rest of your week if I don't happen to tap in before the end of the week. And until next time, love you guys.